Hello everyone, Dustin Davis here from Envelope Budget, and today I wanted to give another status update on the progress of rebuilding Envelope Budget. Last time I just kind of showed the designs, and so now I've started wiring things up. And whenever I work on a new project, I kind of know what I want in my head. Sometimes I don't, and I just start building, but I don't spend a whole lot of time for good or bad, designing and creating tasks. I just look at the design and then I think, what do I need to wire up next to get this thing to work so that I can start using it? And the most important part to me, the time that I spend most of my time, is in the transaction view. But in order to add a transaction, I need an account to tie it to. In order to add an account, I need a budget to tie it to. So my first task was to create a budget. So when you log in, it'll automatically create this My Budget, and it'll populate it with envelopes. Just to give you kind of a head start, you can then add and remove and edit these. But this isn't actually wired up, so you can't actually add categories or envelopes yet. I wanted to get into the transactions mainly. So you can also create a new budget. So I'm going to create another budget. I'll just call this my business company. It'll drop you into the transaction screen by default, but you'll notice on a new budget there is no transactions, so you're kind of left to create all those yourself on a new budget. I could add features later to kind of copy budgets or start with a sample collection of envelopes. But for now, no new envelopes, just create them manually. And then I need to add an account so that I can import transactions. So what I want to do with accounts, I'm going to have three options. One will link with Plaid, and I haven't wired that up yet. Another will link with OFX. I still have one bank account that still works well with OFX, so I wanted to add the ability to connect with their OFX Direct Connect server and import my transactions that way, because I just find it more reliable and I can do it at any time. And then the last one is just an unlinked private account, so you're just tracking things manually here. And that's the only part that I've wired up here. So if I click that, I'll just say I have a checking account. Current balance will be 0. So now I have this checking account. If I click on that, I still have the design in place. This isn't wired up yet. But my transaction screen, I have started working on. It's not fully developed, but my first task was I wanted to import a transaction file. So any of my bank accounts or credit cards, I can log in and download an OFX file that has all my transaction. I found that to be the best solution for downloading files, because it has a unique ID associated with each of those transactions, so that if you import it again, you can ignore all the duplicates. And also if you have an OFX Direct Connect server, it'll also ignore the duplicates. So that's my preference, and so that's what I've implemented so far. And I had ChatGPT just generate a sample OFX file for me, so this is fake data. So if you click import, it'll use Alpine.js now to call the APIs to import the transaction file and just load them up. And you notice I have 50 transactions. I can page through those. One of the things that I wanted to do on this rewrite is to make it kind of hands-free. Like I mentioned in Envelope Budget, this is where I spend the majority of my time on this view. And so I wanted to make it kind of like Gmail, so you can hit J and K and move up and down and select envelopes. Let's say I want to delete a few. I can hit X to highlight those. Then if I push the pound key like Gmail, it'll delete those. And so I just deleted 4 of them. Now I have 46 transactions. There is a button to add a transaction. This form isn't implemented yet. But you could also hit the A key and that'll open this add form. And if you hit escape, it'll close that. And let's say that you want to mark transactions cleared or uncleared. You type the C button, and you'll notice over here it'll mark those cleared or uncleared. My goal is to hit the E button and have it edit the transaction you're on, so that you can edit the payee name or the envelope or the memo, whatever you want here. Kind of like the ad screen. It'll basically just open the same form, but preload it with the transaction you want to edit. I think that's about it for now as far as what I've implemented. Just trying to think. Yeah, that's about it. So my goal is to continue to work on this so that you can add a transaction manually, edit transactions, and then I'll go from there. Assigning envelopes and then having them show up over here in the envelope view to see what the balances are. That's kind of the next steps. So hopefully I'll have an update to show again soon. Thanks.